Good morning, Mr. Yinka.
Morning,
Um,
sir.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Um, I think we're going to start from, a lot of stuff that I've seen about you. Little is known about your background. Actually, in one of the websites, it says we don't have anything about his background. So, who are you?
Okay, my name is Yinka Ogun. I was born in Sheffield, um, 1968, actually, 55, 56 years ago.
And you
Well,
look younger than your age, by the way.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
I went to Mainland Convent Private School. I went to Federal Government College Lagos in Janiki. I went to Ogun State Poly and Yaba Tech. And I delved, so I studied architecture, but I found more fulfillment in writing. And how I got into writing, very interesting story. So so I like to say that more than anything, I went to University of the Streets
Hmm.
and I majored in survival because I was a horrible child. God bless my well. I just like bad things. You understand? I was that child who just took his mother through a lot.
Hmm.
And so for a very long so for after some time I ran away from home and I lived on the streets for years.
In Nigeria?
Yeah, in
Yeah, in
Lagos.
Lagos.
And I discovered the different Lagos, you understand? And child that was born in UK, father director in Guinness, mother former chairman, Western Hotels, yeah, you've run away from home.
That's what I wanted to ask. The background so
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. So, I just had that wanderlust. So for about 3 years I was just roaming Lagos, and everything. And I think that it exposed me to a lot of things.
Hmm.
It exposed me. So my upbringing exposed me to the good side of life. And my mother was chairman hotels, so we are in and out of. We practically lived in
In
hotels. You
hotels,
understand?
yes, yes.
And here I was living
And you
on the
met
streets.
wonderful people,
Yeah,
rich people.
yeah. And here I was living on the streets, and I got introduced to a lot of things, fraud, the drug trade, and all those kind of things.
Hmm.
And so, but what it did was gave me a huge resource base.
Yes, as it were. Yeah.
Yes. So when I went into writing,
Yeah.
I understood my characters better than the next man because
Hmm.
I had met all these characters
But
in real
how
life.
old were you then? I'm curious.
Oh, so as of the time I was just wondering about and everything, I was quite young. I was in my, but not too young. Maybe I was in my 20s,
Okay.
early to middle 20s.
Okay. Not too young.
Yeah. And then apart from that, I tried everything. I worked as a fashion designer. I was good. I used to sing at night shift. I worked as a fashion designer. I used to sing. Did a lot of things. Worked in interior decoration and all those kind of things. So um, yeah, so that was it. Then finally, then I got beaten by this. I want to travel bug and everything. So we're talking about like 5 years of my life that was wasted
Hmm.
between walking the streets and wanting to
Wanted to
travel.
travel.
Then,
But
but
then you shouldn't have a problem with travel. You were born in Sheffield, or you just were raised up over there
I was born in the
in the
UK.
UK. Yeah. So you're a
Uh,
British citizen.
yeah, so one of the things that happen when you're walking in the streets is that you meet all kinds of strange people who will steal all your documents and they will sell it and you will be stuck in Nigeria. So it was at this shitter that they stole my documents, you
Wow.
know. So here I was. That was, I think, how old was I? I don't know how old I was then, in my late 20s and all that. So, but I was a good poet.
Hmm.
So I discovered that side of it. I was a good poet. I was a good songwriter. So in the course of everything, so there was a day I just put some songs together on a sheet of paper, no, on a book, and I went looking for Sammy Opozo
Hmm.
because Sammy then was the king of soundtracks for films.
Soundtracks.
So I gave him my book. I said, I'm a songwriter. I would like to be writing songs for you. That's okay. He will go through my book, and I should see him 2 days later, a Thursday, at the same place, Golden Mother.
Hmm.
So I went home. I was like, I hope you will like it. When I saw him on that Thursday, he just gave me a script. He said, read through and compose a theme song. And that's how I started composing theme songs for Sammy. So in the course of reading the script, while composing for Sammy,
Composing, yes.
I realized I could do better than this. I can do better than this. But of course, at that point, I didn't know how to write a script.
The
But
format.
yes, the format. But that thing gingered me. I wanted to tell stories. So I had this friend who was the screenwriter then,
Hmm.
Dele Omogbai. So I called Dele. I said, Dele, I want to write a story. I have an idea. I said, okay. So after work, Dele will come to my place. I will recount it. He will write it. He will recount it. He will write it. And along the line, I was sort of picking up the skill and everything. So I'm not even sure we finished that script,
Hmm.
but we definitely didn't do anything about it. But after some time, I got a hang of writing scripts.
So just through those practice.
Yeah. And then there was a friend of mine, Silo, yeah, Silo Bankole there. We're just hanging out. She said she wanted to pitch a radio drama,
Hmm.
and then we should all come together and do it. I said, oh, yeah, fine, I'll write. She said, okay, oh, yeah. So I wrote, we did a demo of it. Then she now called me and said, this one that you're writing, people, there's a there's an organization called Communicating for Change. They're actually looking for writers. I'm like, I'd be interested, though. She now said, okay, she'll get in touch with them. Then she gets in touch with them
Hmm.
and she says that they said I should come for an interview. That they
Interview.
already had writers for that season. But if I'm good, they'll put me in a pool
Hmm.
and maybe future seasons. Now, while all this was happening, I lived in Surulere then. There was this guy that used to, opposite my house in Surulere, they used to sell drinks. So there were two guys I used to come. One was called Femi Odugbemi. The other was one guy, Femi Kayode. Anytime that Femi Kayode sees, people will be sitting around him listening to him like he was a demigod. And I hated these gods. It was pure jealousy, unadulterated. So imagine when I walked into Communicating for Change and they said the person that will interview me, do the test is coming. And it's that same Femi. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I was like, they're not
What a
taking me.
coincidence.
They are not going to take me. Because
But
this
he
guy,
didn't know that what you thought
no,
about
no,
him
no,
then.
me, I don't hide it too. I tell you, I was horrible as a kid. I know hide down. It was obvious. So even when he came in when he walked in, it was like, I'm the one doing the test. Are you okay with it? Because he knew I didn't hide it. I'm like, whatever. So I was sure they won't take me, but I was determined that I will write a damn good script. So
Hmm.
when you don't take me,
You know
you'll be
that you are
piercing
losing.
it. You will
Yeah.
know what you did. So they gave me character. So I wrote the script. And then when we finished, say, okay, leave your name and address. We'll get it. So I said, yeah, I understand. Um, um, don't call us, we'll call you. I was full of attitude and I walked off. Like a week later, Silo comes to my house. Where have you been? They've been calling you for Communicating for Change. I said, for what? He said, they took you. I said, how can they take me with that guy there? He said, yes, that even though they were planning to put you in the pool, but your understanding of the character was so strong, they decided to add you among the team.
Wow.
So I was now confused. How do you now go and work with the
This
person you
guy.
declared is your enemy? Long and short, that's how Femi and I became good friends.
Wow.
So I now went to work with him, and then he was switching into advertising, and we were working on a project with Tajidin Adekpetu called Saints and Sinners.
Hmm.
And at that point, he told Tajidin that the only person he's met so far that he thinks can take over Saints and Sinners from him
See
is
you.
me. And that's how I met Tajidin Adekpetu, then my everyday people days and all those kind of things. Got into it. Around that time, so also from Femi
Hmm.
Kayode, I got to meet Femi Odugbemi.
Hmm.
And from all of them, I got to meet Ben Zulu,
Hmm.
who was in charge of the African Script Development Fund then. And it was through Ben Zulu I would get to meet Tunde Kilani.
Hmm.
And so that's how life
The
just,
network.
yeah.
That's interesting. But okay, so was this before you studied architecture? Because
Though I'd studied architecture now. I studied architecture. I'd gone to Gupuri, got to Yaba Tech, and I came out. But I was not cut out for all that. I just wandering the street looking for. I just like to move around. What I was looking for, I don't know, but I was just
Well,
moving
you
around.
eventually found it.
Yes, I did everything. I told you I did everything now. Fashion designing, interior decoration, a bit of fraud, a bit of this, drugs. I didn't do drugs, but I wanted to traffic in drugs. But I guess God had a
At least
better
you
purpose for me.
interacted with those who did it.
I trained. I trained for it. You understand? So I trained to carry it by air. I trained to carry it by sea. So I done everything. But bad, come on.
So yeah, we were, before we started the interview, we are talking about, yes, you studied architecture, and
Yes, I
and
did.
I kind of wondered why. I mean, the relationship between architecture and script writing. So you were explaining something which
Okay,
I
so
found very
it's not
interesting. Yeah.
like there's a direct. It's not direct. But the thing there is, with engineering and architecture, you learn how to see things as wholes, as in parts. You know, I mean, like engineering and technical drawing and all those kind of things. You see this knot, you see this bolt, you see this canister, you see this thing. You draw them individually. Now come and draw them assembled, and that's how storytelling is.
Yeah.
You take a bit of this story, a bit of this story, a bit of this thing, and you put it together into one seamless story. So I think that also helped, that ability. So the thing is, so again, I can, if I hear something, see something, you know, I immediately see the potential in it. And so sometimes I hear something, I see the potential in just not it. I also see the potential of it if I join it to one other thing I'd heard a year ago. And I realized that together they will make an awesome story. So I think that's one of the things I took away from it.
From it, yeah.
Being able to mentally assemble things and see the large
Piece them
picture.
together.
Yes.
That's interesting. And I mean, of course, again, Nigeria is a very, very interesting country. I mean, when one watches some of Nigerian movies, or one of the things, or you think about is how did this come into being? I remember I used to work with NTA. I remember going to NAFTI for a festival. There was this program organized by the German Broadcasting Service,
Mm.
and then Nigerian scripts, Nigerian movies, we always win. My students' projects and a couple of most of the time we always come tops in drama. And
Hmm.
then what people say is that, well, I mean, Nigeria is like, where do you get these interesting stories? So I was kind of wondering, so what kind of sources, you know, do you get your ideas from?
So everywhere, the things you see, the things you read, the music you listen to, things you overhear, it's everywhere. There's almost a story in every situation. And I have this very interesting habit. When I walk into a place, sometimes I see that and I see look at people and I try to make up their backstories. Who is this guy? Where is he coming from? I look at him. The civil servant, is it this? Is he happy? But most importantly, there are stories everywhere. Most of the things people relate to us or we see or we hear and everything are things that if your mind is opened and tuned in a particular way, you see the potential for a story in it. It doesn't have to be that exact thing, but the what if around it. You understand? What if she didn't survive it? What if it was her brother-in-law that did it? What if it was really her sister that did it? Something triggers for it. So the inspiration is everywhere. But like I also told you, there's formula.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So formula says one idea can birth three, four ideas. So if I take a girl who is bipolarism now, I can look at bipolarism from the point of view of a young girl who is bipolar and her parents don't understand. I can look at bipolarism from a point of a young bride whose husband does not know how to deal with it. You understand? I can look at bipolarism from an elderly woman's point of view. I can look at bipolarism, an extreme case of bipolarism, in which she kills somebody she loves without meaning to, but it's bipolarism. But it's not bipolarism. So, like I said, the idea, then the what ifs that you develop around it, that's what gives it a lot of spread.
Wonderful. Very wonderful. Very, very wonderful. Very, very wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, because yes, I mean, as a writer, as a screenwriter myself, I see what you're talking about. Again, what triggers it, what you want to do with it, and
Precisely.
and that brings out about these possibilities and where it goes, which is a and 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 that takes me to something because I mean beyond what you started with by just your curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to the streets and then you're more or less stumbling on, into what you love. So did you take it from there and go for any formal training in script writing? I mean, I'm saying that
Okay,
after you started, after you
so
met a lot of people, and
I
then
did, I did. Hmm. Okay, so I've always had a different disposition than a lot of people. Um, I believe in, Yorubas say, Owolagba. Creatively, I agree. In the sense that it's how talented you are, it's
yes,
not how old you are.
yeah,
When I was going to take over Saints and Sinners, they asked me to write one test episode.
hmm,
It was an abysmal failure to them. Femi Kade, who I was about 2 years older than, made me rewrite that episode 3 times. But by the time I was done, I was a masquerade on my own. Ah, I knew, okay,
this
anything
is
that is
it.
coming now, I
You
can
can deal
handle.
it.
Yeah, he took me, he drilled me. Another person that drilled me too was Tajuddin Adekpete because I spent a lot of time with Tajuddin. So you see, between Tajuddin, Femi Kayode, Femi Odubemi, they they grilled me. I learned to look for the story beneath the surface.
Hmm,
Then I got into the hands of Ben Zulu too.
hmm,
So with all those people, I came out really, really sound. But thank God for internet, I was also researching and
research.
learning things, researching and learning.
Hmm,
You understand? And till now, I regularly try to keep myself abreast of new developments, new trends, and everything, so that you can still be relevant. You understand, and productive. So I haven't, I haven't yet done any formal training. You understand? Apart from the mentorships I've gone through, and the things I've done for myself online, that essentially is it. But like I said, the word is yet, because I still intend to do that next year. I want to go for a master's in the fine art of writing. It's a personal thing, and I need to do it too because one of my major interests is academia. So I intend to start teaching. I actually teach.